Hello and welcome to this really special cryptocurrency technical analysis that I have for you, because I'm going to be answering the highly requested question of, is the bottom now in for Bitcoin? To answer this question, I'm going to be going over the higher term time frame harmonic that we have been trading over the past few months, giving us that short at around $47,000, taking it down to current prices. And I'll be answering, this low that we've put in at around $25,000. Is this actually a really significant pivot in the chart which will support price to push it back up to higher prices, potentially an overall low of the bigger higher term time frame range that we have going on in this? So of course, I am going to ask of you only one thing in today's video, and that is that you pay absolute full attention to everything that I say. I'm going to put a lot of effort into this video. I'm going to be giving you a lot of insights and little golden nuggets along the way. So you just need to block out all distractions around you, give me your full attention for the whole length of the video, and also write some notes along as we go, because you are definitely going to be learning from this video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a little bit of a longer one than normal. I'm also going to include a clip from the public live stream that I attended with BitBoy. Why am I going to attach this clip to this video? Well, because it actually talked in depth about the harmonic at the time before it had completed, what we were looking at, talking about a little bit of the fundamentals underlying, how I'm approaching the fundamentals of Bitcoin. And, this is just an interesting clip. So I'm going to attach that clip now. That's about 15 minutes. And then I will come back at the end of that clip and we will review what's happening now, how that harmonic progressed, and what we are going to be looking at next, really into the next few months here on the Bitcoin chart. So I'll pass you over to that clip. I'll start that now and I'll catch you at the end of that clip. Thank you and enjoy the clip from the BitBoy live stream. Myself personally, I think we are at resistance. I will explain this briefly. I know we're a bit struck on time, but I'll briefly explain the resistance that we're at and how we can approach the market in terms of, you never want to class yourself as a bull. You never want to class yourself as a bear. You want to class yourself as a neutral that's able to make money when price is going down and when price is going up. And that, if you approach the mindset, you have that mindset in trading, you really open yourself up to the possibilities. Naturally, when we came down, seems like a long time ago, but it was only last week, down to $35,000. I'll show you the current trade that I'm talking about here. This is the trade that I was ready and waiting for, which was a harmonic, which is based off of Fibonacci. We had some Fibonacci time in here, Fibonacci retracements, as well as extensions. And I was basically ready and waiting for this long of around $35,000 about 1 week before it happened. So we were basically planned out for this level, and you can see our targets coming in at around $46,000. So from the original idea, this was given on a live stream that I done. From the original idea was long around $35,000, take it up to around $46,000. And obviously we can see today that we've hit in around $45,000 and we're starting to get a pullback. And I will show you here, things that we're looking at in terms of the way that we're trading and doing analysis. I'm not going to lie, it's fairly complex, but it's really, really, really helpful. So the first thing that we'd be doing is marking out these last series of highs. So
over the long term, I'm sure you got Bitcoin holdings you wanted to go up, but over a couple month period, it probably doesn't mean too much to you. So we're in a place right now where people are trying to figure out where this market is going. And so from the technical side, you're showing that it seems like correction. We don't know how far down it's going to go, but could go back to the previous lows. Where do you lie on the idea that the technicals and the fundamentals are just totally separate? Like, do you believe that the stuff going on right now in Russia and Ukraine is affecting the Bitcoin price, or do you think this was going to happen anyways?
Well, that's a really, really brilliant question, to be honest. And I'm not ever going to deny that the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Like, I am a long-term believer in Bitcoin. I do believe in Bitcoin. I hold spot Bitcoin. But for me, it's not that I just believe in this asset and I want to buy it every single day and only buy, never, never shorting. For me, it's like I want to make money when price is going down. Why? Because then I can make even more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so, is there a correlation between the fundamentals and what's
Hey,
happening
Daniel,
on the?
real Igor, we had both of our things. We had our things back in the day, but it's fine. I'm sure he's a nice guy. So,
He's a lovely guy.
yeah, must be good. Maybe I'll meet him one day. So yeah, so go ahead and continue. You were saying that there's possibly some connection between the fundamentals and the technicals right now. If you want to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So
You were going
in
so
in
well.
my opinion, it's more like the fundamentals are speeding up almost the moves. Because I mean, this is I have this argument so much with people. They'll come on and say, "Hey, technical analysis doesn't work. It's all driven by the fundamentals. What you're doing is a gamble." And my answer is always going to be the same. Like people will say, for example, "Hey, this rise is because of if Bitcoin had dropped this week, people would have said." Oh, the fundamentals were bearish, there's a war. Guess what? Bitcoin rose this week, and now they're
Yeah,
saying, oh, Bitcoin is bullish because
it's
there's a
fair.
war and people are hedging into it. So whatever happened, the fundamentals were backed up there. In my opinion, this is truly from the technicals. Why can I say this? I can say this because proving in front of your eyes, like we were recognizing that this was going to drop to this level, it was going to hit that level, and it was going to bounce. And that is literally exactly what happens. People are going to say, "Hey, this was because of the fundamentals." I'm going to say, "No, it was not because of the fundamentals." Otherwise, how are we able? We shorted $69,000. How can anyone time $69,000 from fundamentals? It's not like the
Did you think
fundamentals said 69.
that was the top at the time, or were you taking that trade more in a short term?
For me, it was like a medium-term time frame trade.
Yeah.
I obviously, let's say I didn't think it was going to hit 69,000 and necessarily go all the way down to 34,000. But I had a
Mhm.
very good feeling that we were at least going to see like a 15-20% pullback. And the beauty of trading is when you start to get those pullbacks, you start to change that, large term market structure. See, from there, it's just a case of holding on to that short position. And until you reclaim market structure, until you get those signs of strengths, there's no need to close the short. So I personally still hold that short position
Oh wow.
because
You taking
it's a
profit on
it's a
it?
really big hedge.
You taking some profits on it or
So
no?
no, for me, I haven't taken profits on that because
Okay.
it's more of a hedge. I'm sure you like understand this as well. Like when you have so
Mhm.
much spot Bitcoin,
100%.
you also want
Mhm.
to protect yourself. So
Yeah.
that's mainly a hedged position. I'm just more not really trying to. I'm just trying to emphasize that fundamentals couldn't have called 69K, but we traded $69,000 from a technical perspective. So, that's on a high term time frame, and then from the lower term time frames, being able to recognize where price is going to be drawn towards, where it's going to bounce, and then to see that actually like happen. Um, you know, it's I think it's hard to deny when someone's showing you right in front of your eyes, like it worked,
Yeah.
that people can then say, "Oh, no, it was from the fundamentals." It's like if we do, let's say we pull back here, what's the fundamental reason of pulling back here? I mean, the only reason is that we took that high and you got a pull back from a swing failure pattern. It's a common trade.
Well,
And just
just to continue on that thought there though, like let me just tell you what my opinion, is that
yeah,
when it comes to this move that we've seen, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's hard to like volume. Now, Whale's taking advantage of what's going on to move the price in that direction where technicals are going. I get that. But when it comes to looking at the price points for the support and the resistance, like, I don't think that there was really like a good case, in my opinion, for it to go back and retest 46K if we were still on the way down further. It got clearly rejected at 46K before. So it's like,
yep,
how much of the story are the technicals telling us? Like they're telling us generally, okay, the price should be going up. We get this news, the price, goes up. But in terms of like exactly hitting those price points and where we're at today, where we're basically retested 45 at least. Was that like were you showing that, or you just mean like in general the technicals are showing you specifically like, hey, it's time for like a small resurgence here, or it looks like it's time, it's overbought, it needs to go down a little bit? Or are you saying that you think the technicals drive even like the exact price point where it ends up at?
honestly, yeah, honestly, yes. I'll explain this in a bit more detail if I like show this a second. So
Sure.
this is the harmonic that we were trading. So really simply, harmonic A X to A, we bring it back up to B, bring it back down to C here, and then obviously we're looking for the target D above B if we can clear this last high once more. Really simply, you see X to A, we have this We have this pocket known as the CC, which is our Fibonacci retracement that probably many people have heard about right now. And then we just use this, put this on our CC, and that comes up into the CC. We bring this down. This was a heavy retracement, and this came basically down to the 886 Fibonacci high to low. We come down into the 886 here. So in terms of you know, why if Bitcoin is in a bearish market, let's say Bitcoin is in a really strong downtrend, there's a lot of negative news. Why has Bitcoin bounced like it has here? And I would say there's two reasons for this. Firstly, the harmonic. Okay, so this harmonic was for me a very, very um, important tool in terms of a technical perspective. You can see here we even envisioned one more drop to the downside. Based off of Fibonacci time, a harmonic needs to be symmetrical. And so this X to A was too quick to have put the low in on the Monday, Tuesday. We knew we were looking towards the end of the week. Thus, it was very unlikely that that was the low. Obviously, we then put in the low on a quick move to the downside. And so why is there going to be a bounce? Let's say if the fundamentals are bullish or bearish. For me, I don't really look or care, to be honest, with the fundamentals on these time frames. The only thing I'm thinking to myself is, why are we going to buy here if we are overall bearish, let's say? Because I'm pretty bearish, to be honest, on the medium term time frames. So why would I be buying if I think overall Bitcoin can go lower? And it's a simple fact of, A, we have a really valid technical trade here. The whole world is bearish. And this is something that's really important for me. The whole world is bearish at that moment in time. When you put in that low on the 24th of February, it was just as just as everything's going
Right.
mental in the world. The whole world's ultra bearish. So what is the best way to make money as a large trader? You basically buy all that fear. Your average retail trader is extremely fearful. They're selling, you know, they're scared. And it's the famous quote of, you got to buy and you got to be
Right.
really taking advantage of that fear. So why was this move so quick to the upside? Really simply, it's a short squeeze. The shorts that were scared down here selling, they got absolutely wrecked. You never want to be shorting down here at support. The time to short is the CC at
Mhm.
B, just as the times to short are up here. If you're buying up here, I would question you. I would say you personally had no idea in terms of trading. Like, this is a bad time to long. Why? Because the time to long is at support. You're now breaching, you're now coming up to resistance. This
But
is
yeah,
the
that's what
time to
most
look for
people do.
short.
That's why most people
But
lose.
yeah,
They do it the
but
opposite way, right? They
most people sell it for
yeah.
support and buy the resistance. So it's
Buy in the
funny.
green, sell in the red.
Exactly. Exactly as predicted. But I mean, it's yeah, for me, it's a case of short squeezing, playing on the emotions of the market, follow the rules that the majority of people lose. So when you can not only, I guess, understand the fundamentals to a certain degree, but when you understand the how this market works in terms of drawing liquidity every single time, understanding that it is designed, in my opinion, this market is designed to wreck the majority of people. We see that time and time and time again. When you start to understand this and you can read not only the technicals and trade the technicals, but also trade the psychology of the market, I think that's a really big turning point. If you can
Yeah.
remove yourself from those emotions and recognize, hey, I've got a technical trade here, for example, at a long. We knew where we were longing. We knew why we were longing. We knew where our stop loss was at the time. We're going to take that trade every day of the week. Okay. We could have took this long and we got stopped out. Hey, it's part of trading. We're not going to win every trade.
Yeah.
We want to keep our losses small and our winners big. Hey, we were risking 5%. We're walking away with at least 15% profit on the long. So there's no 100% guarantees, but we're playing the probabilities. We're reading the market. We're understanding really good levels to long, really good levels to short. We're taking the trades. Hey, we're making money, and that's the important thing.
So,
On the way up and on the
real
way
quick,
down.
Daniel, we're running short here on time.
So I hope that you really enjoyed watching back and refreshing your memory at that BitBoy live stream that I done over on his channel. Well, we were discussing things about the fundamentals versus the technical analysis, and truly how the technicals, or could we say the whales in this market, e.g. CC Pool, running the absolute market, and how it is so much more obvious that the technicals truly are the actual fundamental reason why the market is bottoming where it bottoms, why the market tops out where it tops. And how can I say that with absolute certainty? It's because of the way that we're able to predict the lows and the highs we're talking months in advance. The technicals couldn't have done that. We were hinting at things such as, people were blaming the rise on the Russia war, but if Bitcoin had dropped at this point, it would have been because of the Russia war. In the end, Bitcoin rose, and it was because of the Russia war. You can just see how people following the fundamentals, there's always a fundamental reason for a drop or a rise. At the end of the day, the only way that you can time the bottoms and the tops with such precision is by technical analysis. And if you're trading hundreds of millions like I am, it also, of course, does have a bit of a help. But nevertheless, this harmonic was absolute perfection. And I do want to, now go over the harmonic in a bit more depth, give you some insights into, how I personally traded this, how I was calm and collected during the whole process, and how, what it brings us up to now. So when we zoom out, of course, we're now trading back down at around $30,000 once more. And I'll be going over my answer of, is this the bottom for Bitcoin? Okay, so pay attention, and let's start off by reviewing this harmonic. I want to start off by reviewing this harmonic before we go on to what's happening right now. There's just a lot you can actually take away from the education I'm about to give you. And I want to start off with, how we first identified that harmonic back in February, by the way. Back in February was when I was first identifying that harmonic. If you remember correctly, we also shorted the top of B. What was the top of B? That was it up into our CC, by the way. Absolute perfection, with even the swing failure pattern onto the top of the CC. But from that, we obviously recognized very early on, we have a really nice harmonic going on here. When we combine that with the Elliott wave count, this was from a live stream going into where we were looking at the wave 3 low. I was expecting a bounce for wave 4 before one more final push to the downside to give us wave 5, which obviously in the end absolutely did happen. Never taking out the low of A, giving us our really easy invalidation on the long position, bringing it up to around $46,000 to $48,000 being our NPOCs here. Things that you want to take away from this was I was looking at the higher term time frame levels with our volume, okay, on top of your NPOCs, on top of the Elliott wave count. Okay, with our volume put into on top of this. So you can see I'm using a mixture of tools to come together to find the highest probability outcome. I'm not looking at the news. I'm not following anybody else's ideas. I am doing my own analysis, and I was focused and ready on what I wanted to see. Okay, I know at the time as well, Igor was looking at the exact same long. For himself, he was obviously looking for a long off of around $35,000 to take that up to $58,000. Okay, so we both were under the idea that Bitcoin is going to rise from here. We both didn't care about the Russia war. Obviously, Igor had a bit of a higher target than me. My target was always this $48,000. But what we both agreed on was when that actually played out, we got our long entries, and when it finally hit the target, after seeing the failed auction of the high, I think 58,000 just became unrealistic. Why? Because after seeing a failed auction of the high at D, okay, what happened next? Well, let me show you. Well, obviously, this is known as a failed auction. By the way, we come up, we trade above the high of B, we then lose that. So then what's happening here? We're losing market structure. Market structure is obviously very, very, very important after seeing that failed auction. And then you get a really perfect retest of the CC. So you can see Fibonacci from high to low. You are then, after this point, okay, what you have to think is once you have seen that high put in at D, once again, just want to emphasize, correctly called months in advance. Okay, once you've actually seen then that high put in at D, you get the failed auction above the high of B, you then get a market structure change, and then you get this retest of the CC, which lasts several days. Several days, you can see test of the CC, wicks, rejection, 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 rejections, before finally the bulls the bulls give up, the bears take over, which I was obviously very happy about, and we finally see that push to the downside. And I want to just make this very, very, very clear that, of course, this whole long setup into the short was given inside of a members only live stream that I'd done. This was way in advance given to the members. And then if, even for the public, I mentioned the whole harmonic over on live stream on BitBoy's public live stream. So there was a lot of, nobody can deny I did not call that. Okay, but then also within the group, I put this post at the end of, this was the end of March. Okay, and for me, I was emphasizing once more, I'm sticking to my plan. Okay, I'm going to short and chill. The only way I'm going to get out of this is on a reclaim of $47,000. It's the only way I'm going to close this short, because I am going to be basically waiting for lower, and made it very obvious I am shorting off of this harmonic. Let's go down for Carl's liquidation price, 36K. That obviously happened. But, to be serious, short and chill. Why? Because we've hit our harmonic target. Period. We've hit our harmonic target. Unless we reclaim 47K, I'm going to stay in that short. And guess what? Over the following days, again, posted that in the group. Seriously, I'm shorting this. I'm going for the harmonic. I'm waiting for much lower now, 31st of March. You can see you had several days to get into that short. Price did not finally fall until the 5th of April. And if you look here at $47,000, you got the perfect retest of 47K. So pretty much everybody could have taken that short along with me here. You see here, test of 47, test of 47, test of 47, full-on rejections at the exact level that I'm telling you is where there is a lot of confluence of resistance, never able to break that. And guess what? We did go absolutely much lower in the Bitcoin chart. Okay, we can see obviously making its way down, making its way down to $25,000. Okay, during this section of the chart, obviously I was personally on holiday for a few months, making very much use of the profits I was making off of this trade. Of course, also shorted $69,000, also shorted $52,000. Hey, lots of Bitcoin have been made over the past few months. What can I say? I went and absolutely enjoyed myself during this downtrend. Okay, expecting lower prices. Happy to just remain short and chill for those lower prices. And then it's obviously happened right now. Okay, we've hit $25,000. It was obviously our weekly naked point of control, as well as actually being potentially a bottom of this range, where this could be our high of the range, this could be the low of the range, and the price absolutely just remains full on range bound. So what you might be thinking next is, okay, congratulations, Daniel, you long the low of C, you short at the top of D, and it's brought us down to, a really, really, really big target, okay? Victor actually gave this one for free in a public video as well. If you take the length of A, okay, so you're using your Fibonacci extension, go from X, okay, so you go from X to A, bring that to the top of D, and that gives us your one-to-one of X to A equals this target of D, which you can use. We can see that target has been hit off the harmonic, by the way. So this is obviously a pretty large target after you've broke your internal structure, the harmonic, which obviously brings you down to around this key level of $28,000. So what I want to do is zoom in now. I want to zoom in and look at this, we've actually got a range within inside of a range right now. Really simply, you can see this also range that we have going on between this low, okay, this low and this high. So what we can see here is we actually have a range within inside of the range, okay? And then if you go down onto a lower term time frame, this is one that I traded this morning, you actually have another range, which I will show you now. You actually have this range, if it will let me click, we have this range here. So you can see we are absolutely range bound here on a 5-minute time frame. Deviation, short position, back down to the low. Deviation, long position, back up to the middle of the channel. This is really, really basic stuff. If you're a chart champion, this is our bread and butter. This is what we absolutely love to trade. Well, a lot of people find this choppy, difficult to trade. This for me is the easiest rate. This is quite simple. It's just basically a range, but we obviously have a 5-minute range within a 30-minute range within a monthly time frame range. So at the moment, Bitcoin is totally range bound. Okay, I will remove those channels that I've just put on there temporarily. And within that smaller term time frame range, within the medium term time frame range, within the a 4-hour time frame, within the monthly range. Sorry if I'm going into a bit of a rangeception right now. We obviously have a few key levels here. Resistance coming in at around that $32,000 zone. Local support coming in at around 28, maybe between 27,500. So that 28,500, about $1,000. We basically have our support of our local and our resistance locally. So I'll always approach the question the same way of, a lot of people are going to asking, a lot of people are asking me, Daniel, is the bottom in for Bitcoin? Give me an answer. A lot of people just want me to say, yes, the bottom's in for Bitcoin, because why? A lot of people in this market are full-on believers of Bitcoin. They do not like to short Bitcoin. When I was shorting Bitcoin, at $47,000, especially on a BitBoy video where everybody's basically just ultra bulls, do you know how many people were commenting, hey, this guy has no idea what he's doing. Bitcoin's not going to drop from here. Bitcoin is extremely bullish. Bitcoin is breaking out. A lot of people thought, I was mad by shorting Bitcoin, but guess what? We dropped to $25,000. Anyway, I digress. What we have going on here now is, is the bottom in for Bitcoin? Well, my approach to this is, first of all, you will see a lot of the times, just think back to, the last 6 months of price action. Called $69,000 high, called in advance $52,000 high, called in advance $47,000 high. I'm very good at calling highs on Bitcoin. Why? Because I am shorting with hundreds of millions, yeah? Period. Like, I'm pretty good at calling highs, and I'm also trading with a lot of volume. But when it comes to trading lows, I mean, yes, I can call lows, but I'm not so actively trading it in that regards. I'm waiting for things such as sign of strength. Whereas on shorts, I'm really, really, really aggressive. I can have an influence on the market. When it comes to long, I'm more passive, okay? I'm more waiting for those sign of strengths. I don't want to be calling an absolute bottom at this moment in time. Why? Because I can wait to see what the market, what the market wants to say. And if you are a professional trader, you are in this for the long term. You are also, like me, maybe at the moment, sat in really profitable short positions, which continue to pay funding every single day. You are more than happy to remain in those shorts right now, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion, and you are here for my opinion in this video. So, to answer the question, is the bottom in for Bitcoin? We could say there's a probability, yes, of course, the bottom could be in for Bitcoin right now. What do we want to see to really confirm that and have the probabilities increase? Well, we need to see at the very least a reclaim of our key resistance here. Then we'd be moving on to that $36,000 resistance, which is absolutely really massive. If we can start to claim that, start to claim them $40,000, if we start to trade above 40K, the probabilities of the bottom being in here are, of course, extremely high. The probabilities are increasing for every single resistance that we reclaim. Okay, but to say the bottom is in here when all we have done is put in a low and then a subsequent range with no follow through as of yet, we have to say that there's still a high probability that price can absolutely head lower here. And I know a lot of people, especially newer traders, they really don't like this. Hey, this guy says price can go up. This guy says price can go down. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that uncertainty. But guess what? Uncertainty in the market is just a given. You have to trade the probabilities. You have to trade what you feel is the highest probability period. Excuse me. But guess what? I'm pretty good at recognizing what is the highest probability when it comes to like how am I getting those probabilities? It's again using all of these confluences of technical analysis. That is the the key takeaway here. Confluence. We are coming together. We're seeing several things come together at the same time to give us high probability trades. Yeah, we knew that was a high probability resistance. We go on and we test that for 5 days straight, unable to break it. Massive move to the downside. So the same thing that I say here. We want to see really high confluences. I'm not scared to long down here. Yeah, I'm not scared to long down here. I actually have been longing down here. Yeah, I'm not scared to do that. But what I know to actually think to myself, hey, this long has a really high potential of much higher prices. I just want to see a simple sign of strength. It's like the whole downtrend. This whole downtrend, I was so confident staying in those short positions because I knew, hey, I'm going to wait till there's a sign of strength on the Bitcoin chart before I even think about closing those shorts. Guess what? There was zero sign of strength during the whole move to the downside. So I was very comfortable staying in short positions. The same here. Until we can at least reclaim our key resistance, our first key resistance, why would I want to close short positions and be under a risk of continuation to the downside and then just losing loads of money? Myself personally, I would prefer to maintain my same amount of money, at least with a hedge, rather than, just lose extreme amounts of money. That for me is not how I trade. Again, I am in this for the long term. I'm not after, I'm not in this for the short term. I'm in this for the long term. I've already been trading more than 10 years. Yeah. I have a lot of experience in this market. And, for me, I've done this so many times. I've traded bear markets, I've traded bull markets across not just cryptocurrency, but every single market, And for me to want to call a low right now, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to say this is the absolute low for Bitcoin. I'm not going to do that. Could it be the low for Bitcoin? Absolutely, it could. Give me a sign of strength, and I'll start to come to, and acknowledge, yeah, this really could be actually the bottom for Bitcoin. But until we've seen that sign of strength, I'm going to remain in shorts, I'm going to remain hedged, and I'm going to remain calm and collected. Does it mean I'm scared to long? No, I have been longing in this range, okay? But it does mean, I'm just playing it cautious until I see a sign of strength. And over the long term, that has treated me very, very, very well. What can we say? Okay, so a few takeaways then that I want you to remember from this video. People that are going to say fundamentals rule the market, I think all you need to do is show them this. Calling lows, calling highs, calling lows, I just think you need to show them that. You know, if you want to learn everything that we're going over here, because of course, you know, if you want to trade at my level, you are going to need to understand the theories that we teach. And if that is of interest to you, you can of course come across to chartchampions.com, where you have not only me, but of course every single day you have live streams. Okay, so you have live streams every single day from the coaches, not just myself in here. We have a whole team of professionals alongside me to assist you daily, answering all your questions, helping you learn all the techniques that we trade with. Okay, as well as having a really nice friendly community alongside you to assist you. So if that's of interest, head over to chartchampions.com. Okay, and I suppose I'll end with my final thoughts here of yeah, I suppose if you want me to go, you know, more in depth, if you want me to go over some more local term time frame, smash that like button. If this video hits 3,000 likes, I will do a special live stream where I will definitely take as many questions and answers from you, the public, as possible, and we'll do a public live stream there for 3,000 likes. So smash that like button if you've enjoyed. I truly hope you've learned something from this video. I personally feel that there's a lot to have taken away, how I'm approaching the market, how we're looking at the market, how we're recognizing highs and lows, you know, waiting for things such as size strengths. You know, even if you miss the absolute high, getting in on retests, these are really high probability trades when you understand the confluences that we have there. And e.g., we are not saying with a 100% certainty what price is going to do. What we are doing is looking at high probabilities and then taking those trades based off of those high probabilities. Okay, and that is a professional trader. That is the definition of a professional trader, trading probabilities, okay? And obviously well. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, share this video with your friends if you think they'll enjoy it too. And I'm just gonna say thank you, thank you. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, I'll see you over in the members Discord area. So cheers everybody, thank you. Have a brilliant day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye, cheers.